Hello there, in this video I'm going to be talking about the new features I have added to the destruction feature of my game. Well, it's not a feature, it's like a fundamental feature of the game. Everything relies on it. The game's about destroying the world, so you need to have the ability to shoot everything and pretty much destroy everything. It's kind of an exaggerated feature, and that's intentional. So let's get into it. This system includes a lot of subsystems in it. So for example, if we have a wall in here, as you can see, the garbage collection is working. This is a custom system. I've created everything from scratch. And the garbage system is something I've created myself. I needed it because when you have like those floating windows that I have to fix later on, when something that's attached to them explodes, gets destroyed from the world, then these will have to simulate physics, and that's CPU based, which means we're gonna have a optimization problem, a bottleneck, as they say. So we need to create a custom garbage collection to collect all the garbages. This is not garbage, it's just the way we call them. And that is going to have to check on every mesh that we have destroyed, that we have initiated this simulation of physics, and if they're still in the world, it has to go ahead and destroy them. So that's that. We shoot at something, everything collapses. There are rubbles that are spawning underneath. If it's a rock, it's a rocky material. If it's a wall, then we'll have some rubbles underneath. It's a material based. I'm using a lot of physics materials for this. So for example, this is plastic, but I don't have a plastic physical material, so I have to this is the default one. So if I destroy this, it will just spawn a rubble underneath, which is wrong. I have to fix it, but you get the idea. If something's rocky, if something's made of walls, rocks, stone, whatever, we have to spawn a rubble underneath. So if we destroy everything altogether, then afterwards, the garbage collection is still working, right? And it's making sure that everything gets destroyed, so the CPU doesn't have to work over time extra hard. So afterwards, the environment will get pretty empty. I swear, it's going to be really empty. So instead, we spawn these rubbles that look really good, and they just count. If, for example, I destroy the roof, it takes some seconds, so they go to the ground, and then it just does all the effects and spawning and so on. So it counts, and then there are some effects. The effects are not as heavy as you can see in Battlefield 6, because that's like a next generation game. This game aims to be able to be run on real older devices. I am targeting 3060 RTX with 6 GB of RAM. I'm not talking about the 8 GB of RAM, VRAM, of course. To be able to play the game on Ultra with 60 frames per second flat, like a really smooth experience, which is why I can't have a lot of particles floating around. So if I have some, I didn't spawn anything. Well, you got the idea. So now we have rubbles, we have some meshes. We had actually some meshes that were simulating physics, and garbage collection got rid of them. And as you can see, as we go on, the rubbles get just accumulated on the surface, and everything just changes drastically. The environment changes really drastically, and garbage collection comes in forward and changes everything, destroys everything one by one. Everything's here is CPU based, so it's just an extra work for CPU. We have to make sure that this is working really nicely and smoothly. So this is a problem. So what happens is that if you shoot at this, it will take the bounds of the mesh and then it will multiply it by something like 2, and then it will check. If there's anything that's connected to this mesh, will have to simulate physics, and pretty much it would fall off, right, if it's not connected to anything else. But the problem is that some of these assets are really small, like really insanely small, that their bounds multiplied by nearly 2 is just nothing, as you can see. So it can't really catch this one. So I don't really know how to fix that. This only happens for this specific asset. But either way, it's going forward and it's progressing really fast. And it gets really awesome and interesting when you are fighting with the boss fight. We have this boss fight called the Viper, and as you can see on the screen right now, when it hits the ground, when it just tries to attack you, it will just collapse everything. So the buildings will collapse and there are just particles flying, rocks and everything, simulating physics, and lots of rubbles on the ground, and I mean lots of really cinematic experiences, which is nice. This is just a tiny part of the destruction system in my game, which is specifically for this environment. I have destruction for trees. I have a jungle level that has some trees, and those trees will block your way and you have to get rid of them. You have to just clear the path. And I have some other cities. I have some houses, which definitely the destruction in the house is not as big as this one. And yeah, I'll definitely explain all of them in future videos, but right now this is what's left. I mean, it's really exaggerated, but that's the case. That's intentional. I wanted it to look like this. I wanted it to be like really exaggerated and big and epic. I'll probably try to add some transparent effects. I mean, all of these are 2D sprites, and 2D sprites can be heavy on GPU if you are just overusing them. If you have like 10 2D sprites on top of each other, well, that's not gonna help in rendering GPU wise. It has to render every pixel 10 times, which is not ideal. So, and for us that won't really, and that's a problem, this one didn't get destroyed. Well, there are bugs still, but we're getting there. And we have the optimization in mind, and we don't want the pixels to get like rendered 10 times. That's not ideal. Well, we're still working on it. The game's gonna be published in exactly 25 days. And you can wishlist it now in Steam. And I wish you a great day. Bye.